Yeah.
Hello, Council. Matt Tenenfeld. I own the property at 187 First Street, and since mine, I've been trying to clean it up, do little home repairs here and there, basically rent it. And then I did receive weeds and grass violation in August, in which I didn't really understand. They said it was the wrong address for me. And I also received a ticket for a noxious or disabled vehicle parked. And I'm trying to find out the codes in the code book, and they're unavailable for me to read. Is there some way I can read the codes so I can understand what obnoxious weeds mean or vegetation, and actually what disabled vehicle is? Because it says disabled vehicle hasn't moved in 2 weeks. Personally, I own more than one vehicle, and one vehicle might sit in my driveway for a month without me driving it. But according to your thing, if it sits more than 2 weeks, you can get a ticket. So I don't know exactly how to determine a disabled vehicle, if it has tags on it, no tags on it, exactly, because I can't read the codes. I don't have access to the code book.
Do you have a copy of the citation?
I have one copy, yes.
What section does it state?
Let's see, this one here is 601.7.
That would probably be the property maintenance code.
I think this was for vehicle, and then property maintenance code was 302.4.
There's more than one section.
I mean, can the books be available before council meetings, or
Yeah.
during the week that I can stop down?
It should be. It should be. You should be, you have those correct.
Available at all times.
Yeah, but I didn't
I mean,
understand that's what he wanted. I thought he was asking for something different.
And actually, I want a copy of all the people who received the disabled
That's what
vehicle
he's saying.
citations.
Oh, we can get that for you.
Okay. Because I actually filled out the request on November 16th for them.
Okay.
So,
You probably have it by the end of the week.
okay, can I get a copy of these codes too, so I can understand what vegetation is, or,
If you give them to me,
okay,
yes.
I'll see if I can write them out tonight before I leave.
Okay. If you have copies of the paperwork that you received,
Yeah.
I'll make copies of them right now.
Well, I got a pad, I'll write them down for you.
Okay.
You can, if you let one of us, we can go in and copy it, so the solicitor has the whole
Okay,
thing.
I'll do that.
We can do that for you, that way we know. But what you requested from me was, I
A
thought
copy
it
of the
was,
citations.
you was
Yeah.
talking about that.
Right.
And like I said to you, I wanted to make sure the solicitor inputted on that, because I'm always careful since it's a public records request.
Do you want what specifically?
Well, just, I want the definition of obnoxious weeds, rank vegetation, because there's like, I don't know if you call it honeysuckle, rank vegetation, or obnoxious weeds. It is an invasive plant. You know, I kind of like scratch my head on it, because I'm down there usually every 2 weeks and trim, because I know my tenant doesn't have a weed eater. And I've been cleaning up the house as I bought it. I mean, there was a whole tree growing up against the house, and it's all cleared off. The whole back of the house is cleared off. I just didn't know what all the definitions mean. It's just vague on what they can say, you know.
If you give us the code sections,
Okay.
I'll make sure you get
And
copies.
with the vehicle too, because I know it's my nephew who rents my house, and he had a car down there. It ran, just didn't have tags on it. But it's sitting on private property, and it's on a blacktop parking area off the street. And we got a citation. I'm thinking,
Lack of tags is the issue.
that's it? I mean, I had a car sitting in my driveway for 4 years with no tags, so I'm going through the
Where
court
did you
system.
live?
Well, I live in Cheviot.
Right,
So, I mean, I know they have a thing too.
but you're supposed to have tags on the vehicle.
Okay.
Supposed to be licensed.
And it says if it doesn't move in 2 weeks, even if it's licensed?
It's gotta be, it's gotta be licensed.
Right, and it
What
says
it
you
is.
have to move it every 2 weeks. I'm thinking, no, I don't drive vehicles every 2 weeks.
You was on the code enforcement one, correct?
House numbers are we
It was
talking?
187 First Street,
That's what he was
old
saying.
workman's house, where
Oh,
workmen
okay.
live. Yeah, right next to Chip's garage is where it's sitting. So, I'll get a,
Other codes that go with it. It's,
Yeah, it's not
different
just one
things.
look.
It's just not one thing, it's multiple things.
hey, Margaret, do you wanna make a copy of these?
Yeah,
now?
sure,
Okay.
yeah. So you want to do that?
And just another question, I know
Well, I don't know.
when I called Margaret, it said,
No,
where's that? It says if you wanna appeal, you have to appeal through the clerk and I don't know if Margaret, like, I wrote a paper, I could appeal it, but then nobody knew exactly how to receive it.
But there's two different clerks. There's the clerk of courts, and you recite it through that system. I'm the council clerk.
Well, who's the clerk
So
of
it
courts to
wouldn't-
file
it
an
wouldn't be
appeal?
me. Would it, Bob, it wouldn't have been the clerk of courts? It's probably been Aaron Valerie, clerk
Okay,
of courts.
okay.
Because it went through this.
And
Because it
you know,
went through that
some of these,
process.
I mean, it gives me 5 days to take care of the weeds and 2 weeks on the date that it's mailed. I mean, 5 days is kind of like, time I get it, if it's mailed, get it 2 days later, I got like 2 days to address the issue, or if they could be, you
Who
know,
sent you the citation?
the village, the
No.
Code enforcer.
code enforcer, Edward.
So if you get that, you should call the code enforcer
Okay.
right away. Because the issue is to try and get compliance. It's
Right.
not to generate revenue,
Okay,
okay? That's the objective.
okay,
So if you know the car's gotta be licensed, you have it licensed, and then they'll drive right by your property. But if it's not licensed, then they'll issue the citation. If it sits there and continues to be not licensed, the code enforcer's probably gonna say, we went through this one time before, and I gave you the opportunity. See what I'm saying?
okay, yeah, I understand. Okay. That's all I have.
Hey, Eric, would you mind making copies of what he's got for Bob? Thank you, appreciate that.
Could you make two, Eric?